28-year-old Kyoma was 7 months pregnant and ready to marry the man she believed loved her. But beneath the white gown and wedding plans, a devastating secret lurked, one that would shatter her world in a single night. While she dreamed of forever, betrayal unfolded in a hotel room just floors above, captured in a secret recording that would change everything. This is not just a story about heartbreak, but about strength, courage, and the power to choose yourself when love turns to lies. Let's begin. If this story moved you, please like, comment, and subscribe. Your support helps give light to voices that deserve to be seen and heard. Once upon a time, there was a woman named Kyoma. She was 28, beautiful in a quiet, graceful way, someone who carried herself with a dignity shaped by years of hardship and resilience. That evening, 7 months pregnant, her baby bump proudly visible beneath a soft cream gown, she wore a smile that came easily but never foolishly. When Kyoma looked at you, it felt as if she saw beyond the surface, into your soul. She had waited many years for a love she could truly trust, and at last she believed she had found it in Booker. Booker was everything she'd dreamed of, intelligent, polished, and effortlessly charming. He had the perfect words for every moment, the kind of man who made you feel safe just by being near. He could make her laugh when fear gripped her and held her hands tightly when she trembled at the thought of giving birth. He whispered tender promises like, "You're my whole world." Tomorrow was their wedding day. The house buzzed with life. Cousins rushing through hallways, aunties in headscarves frying chicken in the backyard, the unmistakable noise of joyful chaos. Someone called out, asking who kept the baby wipes in the cooler. Amidst it all, Kyoma sat quietly on the edge of her childhood bed, gently circling her belly with her hand. Her white veil hung patiently on the door, waiting for morning. Her cousin Linda barged in without knocking, as she always did. Chewing gum, Linda plopped down beside Kyoma. "Are you just going to sit here all night? Not even do something special for your groom?" she teased. Kyoma offered a tired smile. "What kind of special?" Linda rolled her eyes. "You're about to marry the love of your life, and you won't even deliver his gift yourself? He's staying at the Mareri Hotel tonight. You could sneak in, give him that gold wristwatch you bought, and write a sweet note. It would blow his mind." Kyoma laughed softly, exhaustion weighing on her. "Linda, I'm tired. My legs ache. I've been on them all day." Leaning in, Linda whispered, "Exactly. That's why it'll mean even more. Do it for love." Kyoma hesitated. "Don't you think it would be awkward, showing up unannounced?" Linda stood, hands on hips. "It's your man. Your wedding is tomorrow. You're carrying his baby. If anyone should knock on his door tonight, it's you." Kyoma thought for a long moment, then rose. "All right, I'll go. But I'm not staying long." Linda smiled wide. "Good girl." The Mary Hotel wasn't far, just past the gas station right across from a tall glass bank building. Under the night sky, its soft yellow lights glowed with quiet elegance. Kyoma stepped out of the Uber, clutching a small paper bag that held the wristwatch and a folded handwritten letter. She walked slowly, one hand resting beneath her belly, the other carrying the bag. At the reception desk, the woman behind the counter looked up. "Good evening," Kyoma said gently. "I'm looking for Mr. Abuka. He checked in earlier today." The receptionist typed briefly, then smiled. "Yes, he checked in tonight, but he's not alone. His instructions were clear, no interruptions." Kyoma blinked, heart sinking. "He's not alone?" The receptionist nodded politely. "He came in with a woman." Kyoma forced a smile. "Okay, thank you." She stepped aside and walked slowly toward the elevator, pressing the button as she caught her reflection in the shiny doors. Her fingers trembled, eyes wide, face calm, desperate not to jump to conclusions. Maybe it was his sister, maybe a friend, or someone from the wedding planning team. But as the elevator opened and she stepped inside, A voice inside her urged, "Go up there. Don't ignore this feeling." She pressed the button for the 7th floor. The hallway was silent and cold, her slippers tapping softly on the red carpet as she passed room 708, then 710. Then she paused at 712. The door was closed, but voices drifted out. Muffled laughter, then a sound she dreaded. Moaning. Her hand flew to her mouth to stifle a scream. She moved closer, pressing her ear to the doorframe. It was Booker's voice, clear, calm, laughing. "Kyoma's too emotional these days, always talking about our future. I'm only marrying her because of the baby. If she weren't pregnant, I'd be out." The woman giggled. "You're wicked." "She thinks this is love," Booker said. "But she's nothing without that baby. Once the wedding's done, I'll control everything." More kissing sounds. The bed creaked, followed by silence and then more moaning. Kyoma's lips trembled. Tears welled in her eyes but refused to fall. With shaking fingers she pulled out her phone, opened the voice recorder and pressed record. She didn't cry. She didn't scream. She stood there, listening, holding steady, capturing every word, every sound, every cruel truth. She wanted to vomit but swallowed it down. The recording lasted almost 6 minutes. When it stopped, she backed away like a ghost, walking back to the elevator, still recording the empty hallway as she moved. Her hand touched her belly again, but this time not with joy, this time with fierce protection. She would protect her child. Back in the Uber, her face was pale. The driver asked if she was okay. She nodded silently, not ready to go home. She asked him to stop at a nearby pharmacy, where she bought water, tissues, and a new memory card. She copied the recording, then sent a backup to her email. Sitting in the car, she breathed deeply. The driver said nothing, just waited. Finally, Kyoma whispered to herself, "I am not the fool you think I am, Booker. Tomorrow, I'll show you." She didn't sleep that night. Lying on her side, wide awake, she stared at the dark wall. Her phone glowed on the bedside table, replaying the recording over and over again. She had heard it, clear as day. His voice, the laughter, the moans, the betrayal stitched between every mocking word. There was no room for doubt now. Kyoma, 7 months pregnant with Booker's child, stood still in the hallway of that hotel, not a single tear falling. While she had been dreaming of forever, he had been upstairs, wrapped in another woman's arms, joking about how easy it would be to control her life once they were married. But Kyoma didn't break. The pain cut deep, but it awakened something fiercer than sorrow. One hand gently cradled her growing belly as she whispered in the dim silence, "I'll protect you. I swear, no one will ever use you to hurt me again." The ceiling fan above turned slowly, a lazy rhythm against the tension in her chest. Outside, crickets chirped. Inside, her heart was a furnace. At 5:12 in the morning, she stood up from the edge of the bed, her mind clear, her soul sharpened like steel. By sunrise, the family compound was alive with celebration. Women peeled yams with laughter. A decorator arrived, arms full of white ribbons. Aunties bickered over table placements while gospel music spilled from the kitchen speakers. But Kyoma moved like smoke through it all, unseen, silent, focused. She slipped into the guest room and closed the door behind her. Then she picked up her phone and dialed the one number she knew would answer without judgment. The voice on the line was deep and deliberate. "Uncle Aya," she said, calm but firm. "Kyoma, is everything okay?" "No, sir, I need your help. Please, don't ask questions. I'll explain everything later. But I need you to pull your investment from Booker's company immediately." There was a pause. "Pull out? The wedding is tomorrow." "I know. That's why I'm asking now, before it's too late." "Did he do something?" Her jaw tightened. "Yes, but I can't talk about it over the phone." Another silence. This one heavier. Then softly, I'll take care of it. Are you safe? I am now. I'm proud of you. She ended the call. No tears, no hesitation. She picked up the phone again. Barrister Fundy, she said as soon as the line picked up. Good morning, Kyoma. Excited for the big... I need you to cancel the marriage license. There was a stunned silence. Cancel it? I'll pay whatever it costs. Just make sure that license doesn't exist by morning, not for 1 second. Is this about Booker? Are you sure? I've never been more certain in my life. The lawyer sighed. All right, I'll call the registrar's office before they open, but Kyoma, please, just do it. I'll follow up with a formal message now. You got it. I'm on it. She ended the call and finally exhaled. Her ring finger was bare and she intended to keep it that way. No vows, no lies, no chains. By 8 o'clock, her cousin Linda came waltzing into the room, balancing 2 plates of steaming jollof rice. Morning, bride-to-be, Linda sang, pretending the night hadn't shattered anything. You skipped dinner, so I brought you something light. Kyoma eyed her, skeptical. Linda's smile was too wide, her voice too sugary, her eyes skittering like a guilty child. Really? Kyoma asked, her tone dry. Linda dropped beside her on the bed. You okay? You look exhausted. I couldn't sleep. Oh, it's just nerves. Big day tomorrow. Kyoma gave a thin smile. Yeah, big day. Linda glanced at the dress hanging on the door. You'll look like a queen, she said, still grinning. I wish I were in your shoes. A man like Booker, handsome, rich, loyal. Kyoma turned her head slowly, locking eyes with her. Loyal? Linda froze, then forced a nervous laugh. I mean, he loves you. Kyoma stood, lifting the plate but not touching the food. Thanks, I need to rest. Linda stood too, brushing imaginary dust from her dress. Sure, just call me if you need anything at all. As soon as the door clicked shut, Kyoma locked it, then walked to the mirror, stared at her own reflection, and placed one hand on her belly. Tomorrow, she whispered, I'll show you who you played with. That afternoon, Booker called. She let it ring twice before answering. Baby, his voice cooed, slick as ever. How are you? I'm fine. You didn't answer earlier. I was with family. I couldn't sleep last night, thinking about tomorrow, about you, about the baby. We're really doing this, huh? Kyoma pressed her lips together. Yes, we are. He chuckled. You sound serious. Everything okay? I'm just tired. Pregnancy and wedding plans don't mix well. True, he said, but after tomorrow you'll rest plenty. I'll spoil you rotten. Kyoma nodded, knowing he couldn't see it. I believe you. He went on, rambling about the photographer, the drone footage scheduled for 11, the pastor's prayer, and their first dance. We're perfect, Kyoma said when he asked if everything was all right. That's my girl, he laughed. She hung up and stared at the wall. A calm washed over her. Not peace, but clarity. She reached for a notepad and began writing down names of those she wanted to witness her rise from this heartbreak, not out of spite, but as proof that strength is quiet, strategic, and never born from vengeance. That evening, her father stepped into the room holding a small white Bible. My daughter, he said softly, let me pray with you. If this story moved you, please like, comment, and subscribe. Your support helps give light to voices that deserve to be seen and heard. Kyoma stood slowly and took her father's hands in hers. His eyes closed as he whispered, Father, tomorrow marks the start of a new chapter. May this marriage be filled with peace, love, and loyalty. Kyoma said nothing. Her hands trembled just slightly in his grasp. Amen, he breathed. She opened her eyes, nodded quietly, and replied, Amen. But deep inside, a different prayer echoed, one fierce and unyielding. Let the truth be louder than his lies. The next morning dawned with gentle sunlight spilling over a world that carried on as if nothing had changed. Birds sang sweetly, flowers unfurled their petals, and life moved with quiet grace. But inside the makeup chair, Kyoma sat still, staring at her own reflection as the artist carefully dusted powder across her face. "You're so calm," the woman remarked softly. "Most brides are shaking by now." Kyoma's lips curved into a faint smile. "I'm ready." Her wedding gown lay neatly folded on the bed, the very one Linda had helped her pick weeks ago. Just as the artist moved to apply lipstick, Kyoma's phone buzzed with a message. Her lawyer's words appeared on the screen. "License cancelled. Officially withdrawn. No valid marriage can take place today. Good luck." Kyoma allowed herself a small, satisfied smile. Downstairs, Booker was already waiting in a deep burgundy suit, every inch the picture-perfect groom. His hair was freshly cut, his shoes polished, his smile charming as he greeted arriving guests, shaking hands, laughing, the man every mother dreamed her daughter would marry. Beside him stood Linda, radiant in a gold bridesmaid dress, grinning like a thief who had never been caught. Kyoma watched them both from behind the glass, no anger left, only quiet resolve. Back in her room, she pulled a small memory card from her bag and slid it into a Bluetooth audio device. The church had a state-of-the-art sound system, wireless microphones, powerful speakers. All she needed was 30 seconds. She tucked the device carefully inside her bouquet, hidden but within reach. Whispering to herself one last time, she thought, "Not every bride gets to wear a gown and walk straight into her freedom." Outside, the convoy of cars rolled forward, cheers ringing through the air, cameras flashing. Everyone expected a fairy tale, a celebration of love. But Kyoma was leading them into battle. The church stood tall, its white walls gleaming in the sunlight, gold ribbons tied delicately on every window. Inside, chairs were arranged with meticulous care. Pink and cream flowers bloomed across the altar, and a giant banner hung proudly above the stage. "Welcome to the wedding of Booker and Kyoma." Laughter, whispers, and camera shutters filled the space. Ushers adjusted seating, pointed guests to their places, and the choir tested their microphones. Everything was perfect. Or so they thought. Outside, Booker stood at the entrance, sharp in his white suit with black velvet accents. His wristwatch caught the sun's glow as he checked his phone with a smile. Friends clapped him on the back. "Today's your day, bro. You played this smart." Booker laughed. "I told you. When a man knows what he wants, he goes for it." Nearby, Linda pretended to snap pictures of the decorations, stealing glances at Booker, biting her lower lip. When their eyes met, she quickly looked away, smiling to herself. Pride burned in her chest. She thought she had won. After all, she had spent the night with the groom, while her cousin Kyoma remained in the dark. Inside a separate car, Kyoma sat still as stone. Her makeup was flawless, her face glowing softly beneath a veil that draped like silk. Her gown of pure white floated around her like water. Outside, children screamed with joy, "The bride is here!" Guests scrambled for their phones to capture the moment. Kyoma stared straight ahead, unblinking. Her hands rested gently on her belly, fingers gripping the bouquet, the small device hidden within. Her father leaned close and whispered, "Are you ready, my daughter?" She turned slowly, eyes steady. "Yes, Daddy, I'm ready," she answered. His deep voice came steady. "Kyoma, I spoke with my people. My investment in Booker's business is withdrawn. His accounts will freeze in 2 days." Kyoma nodded, grateful. "Thank you." He paused, then said quietly, "I'm proud of you. You did what most women fear to do. You stood up." Kyoma smiled faintly. "I had no choice." "No," he said firmly, "you had a choice, and you chose yourself." She ended the call and looked at the wedding invitation still pinned to her wall. Slowly, she took it down and dropped it into the trash. The next morning, Kyoma woke to silence. No decorators rushing, no cousins shouting in the backyard, no gospel music pouring through the speakers, just quiet. She sat up and rubbed her stomach. Her baby kicked, a soft reminder that she wasn't alone. Her gown from the day before hung quietly by the door, no longer radiant. The bouquet had been taken apart and thrown away. Her veil lay crumpled on a chair. She had walked out of her wedding, and today the world would know. Her phone lit up, 10 missed calls from Booker, 14 from Linda. Messages flooded in without pause. She opened Instagram. Her name was trending. Kyoma the Brave, room 712, altar bombshell. A video of her speech had already passed 200,000 views. Kyoma didn't know whether to laugh or cry. But one thing was clear. Peace had found her. Across town, Booker sat on the edge of a hotel bed, head in his hands. His eyes were red and swollen from sleepless nights. His phone buzzed again. Another call from his lawyer. He ignored it. Then came a message. Your investor has officially withdrawn all funds. Company accounts frozen. We need to meet. Booker groaned. How did everything fall apart in one day? He whispered. His business was failing, his wedding destroyed, his reputation in ashes, and Linda had stopped answering his calls since last night. He paced the room, desperate to scream. That afternoon, Booker finally called Kyoma. She answered. Hello? Her voice was calm. Kyoma, he sounded worn. Please, can we talk? There's nothing to talk about, she said quietly. I know I hurt you. I know I destroyed everything. But please, I didn't plan for any of this. You're right, she said softly. You didn't plan for it to come out. You planned to lie, to use me, to take everything. Kyoma, I never meant to use you. Then why did you say it? Why did you laugh about me with another woman the night before our wedding? I was drunk, confused, stressed. Tam, Savid. Silence. Then Kyoma continued. I carried your child. I trusted you with my life, and you gave your body to my cousin. You planned a future where you controlled me like property. I was scared. Okay, he said, voice cracking. I didn't feel ready for marriage. I didn't know how to say it. I thought maybe if we went through with it, I'd grow into it. You should have told me, not betrayed me. Tease Kyoma. I'm losing everything. People are backing out of deals. My clients are canceling contracts. My face is everywhere on social media. You're only sorry because the world saw it. He paused. So, you're done? Yes, I'm done. Before he could respond, she ended the call. Back at Kyoma's house, her living room filled with family, uncles, aunties, cousins. Everyone had heard what happened. Some looked at her with pity, others with pride. Her father stood and cleared his throat. My daughter has gone through something many women wouldn't survive. She stood her ground. She exposed the truth, and I support her. Everyone nodded. Her mother wiped a tear. We raised her well. One aunt leaned forward. Kyoma, what do you plan to do now? Kyoma looked up. I plan to raise my child. I plan to heal. And I plan to never let any man like Booker near my life again. They clapped. Meanwhile, Linda sat at her parents' house, face red from crying. Her father shouted. Her mother stayed silent. You've destroyed this family's name, her father yelled. Sleeping with your cousin's fiancé the night before her wedding. I didn't mean to, Linda sobbed. Shut up, her father snapped. You're no longer welcome at any family gathering. Do you understand? She nodded, tears streaming. If my cousin never forgives me, don't blame her. You deserve everything coming to you. Booker's day only worsened. His lawyer called again. This time he had to pick up. "Booker, your accounts are under review. Your main investor, Kyoma's godfather, has pulled all his money, and with the press damaged, none of the new investors want to move forward." "What are you saying?" Booker asked, sweating. "You need to close down operations until we figure out what's left." Booker sank into his chair, his dreams gone, all because of one night. Meanwhile, Kyoma's video continued to spread across social media. Messages poured in. "You're our hero," one read. "God bless you for standing up for yourself. You just saved 1,000 women who needed strength." Kyoma didn't reply, but she read every word. Then a message from a woman named Nosi caught her eye. "Hi Kyoma, I watched your video. My husband has been cheating on me for years. I stayed silent, but yesterday, when I saw you walk out of that church with your head held high, I packed my things and left. Thank you for reminding me that I matter." Kyoma read the message twice, then smiled faintly. She was making more than noise, she was making a difference. The next day, she visited her doctor. Her baby was healthy, heartbeat strong, growth perfect. The doctor smiled. "You're doing well, your baby is strong." Kyoma smiled back. "So am I." As she left, someone stopped her in the hallway. "Are you Kyoma?" a woman asked. "Yes," she replied. The woman hugged her tightly. "Thank you, Kyoma." Kyoma blinked. "Do I know you?" "No," the woman said softly, "but I know what you did, and I'm proud." At home, Kyoma began to write. She had an idea, a blog, a safe space for women who had been hurt, betrayed, or left behind. She called it The Bride Who Walked. Her first post read, "I wore a white gown, but I didn't marry shame. I walked, and it was the best decision of my life." Soon, women started sharing their stories. The community grew faster than she imagined. With every story, she healed, not just herself, but others too. 1 week later, Booker showed up at Kyoma's gate, flowers in hand. But the gateman never even opened it. Kyoma had left clear instructions. If Booker ever appeared, he was not to be let in. Booker lingered outside for over an hour, then finally dropped the flowers on the ground and walked away. Later, Kyoma watched the security footage and shook her head softly, whispering, "It's too late." That night, she sat quietly with her father in the living room. He turned off the TV and looked at her with something heavy in his eyes. "I never told you this," he began slowly, "but when your mother and I first got married, she found out I was talking to someone else." Kyoma raised an eyebrow in surprise. "What?" He nodded. "I didn't deserve her, and she could have walked away, but she stayed. She forgave me, and I changed. Though, truth be told, I still wish she'd made me sweat a little more first." Kyoma laughed softly. "So you're saying I did the right thing? You did what many women are too afraid to do. You ended the pain before it could take root." Kyoma looked down, voice breaking a little. "Sometimes I still feel like crying." Her father's voice was firm but gentle. "Then cry. But cry because you're free, not because you lost something. Believe me, you didn't lose a man. He lost you." Kyoma nodded slowly. That night she cried, but only once. By the end of the week, Kyoma was invited to speak at a women's group. The hall was packed. Women from all walks of life had come to hear her story. She stepped on stage, microphone in hand, wearing a flowing blue gown patterned in white. Her baby bump was now more pronounced, but she stood proud. "I'm not here because I'm perfect," she began slowly. "I'm here because I broke, and I stood again. And I want you to know, no matter what anyone has done to you, you are not weak. You are not small. You are not shame." The women clapped softly, some wiping tears from their eyes. She continued, "A white gown doesn't make you a bride. Your dignity does. And if the man standing beside you doesn't honor you, walk. More applause. Some women sobbed quietly. Kyoma stepped down from the stage, to the sound of heartfelt applause, trailing her like a song. That same evening, in a dimly lit bar, Booker sat alone at a table, staring blankly at his drink. His phone buzzed again. A news site had posted a new article. Kyoma launches foundation to support betrayed pregnant women. The headline made him feel sick. He dropped the phone. Someone at the next table whispered, "Isn't that the guy from room 712? Booker stood abruptly and walked out, the door closing softly behind him. 3 days after the wedding that shattered the internet, stories and gossip buzzed non-stop. News blogs, radio shows, and social media were filled with headlines like, "Pregnant bride walks out of wedding after playing secret hotel recording," "Room 712, the tape that broke the altar." Tielman's name trended as a symbol of strength for African women everywhere. Wherever she went, people whispered, pointed, or greeted her warmly. Some offered hugs, others handed her letters of encouragement. She was no longer just the girl who walked away from the altar. She was becoming a name. But Kyoma wasn't chasing fame. She wanted healing, peace for herself and her unborn child. She shut off her phone for a day to rest her mind. When she turned it back on, her inbox had over 400 unread messages, some from strangers, some from journalists, even invitations from churches to share her testimony. One message stood out. It was from a woman named Ada. "You don't know me, but you saved me. I was in an abusive marriage and afraid to leave because of shame. After watching your video, I left, with my child. You gave me courage. Thank you." Kyoma held the phone close to her chest and sat quietly for a moment, then whispered softly, "Maybe that's why it happened." That morning, Kyoma sat in her garden, watching birds hop across the ground. Her mother came outside carrying a tray with hot tea and fresh bread. "Mama," Kyota said gently, "you don't have to bring me food every time." Her mother smiled softly as she set the tray down. "But it gives me joy to feed you, and you need your strength now more than ever." Kyoma took the cup of tea. "Thank you." They sat in comfortable silence for a while, until her mother finally asked, "Have you spoken to Booker since all this?" "No," Kyoma said firmly. "I blocked his number." "Ah." Her mother raised an eyebrow. "You really think that's enough?" Kyoma looked up. Her mother continued, "I forgave your father once for cheating. It nearly destroyed me. I smiled on the outside, but I was dying inside. I stayed for appearances, but I won't let my daughter do the same." Kyoma looked down, the pain still raw. Her mother's voice softened. "It will hurt for a while, but the pain fades. Just like labor, it feels like death, but after the child is born, joy comes." Kyoma smiled faintly. "I hope so." Later that day, her phone rang from an unknown number. She almost didn't pick up, but something made her answer. "Hello." The calm voice replied, "Good afternoon, Kyoma. My name is Mrs. Efienwa. I run the Grace Women's Center." "Good afternoon," Kaimon responded politely. "I watched your video," Mrs. Epiniera said, "and I've been following everything you've done since. We'd love to invite you to speak to a group of young women who've been through betrayal, abuse, heartbreak. They need someone like you." Kyoma hesitated. "I'm not a speaker." "You are now," the woman said gently. After a moment's thought, Kyoma agreed. "Okay, I'll come." The next Saturday, Kyoma stood inside a modest hall filled with plastic chairs and standing fans. About 25 women were seated, some young, some older, with a few babies in laps. Kyoma wore a simple blue gown that revealed her growing belly clearly. Holding the microphone, she scanned the room. "I'm not here to talk like a celebrity," she began. "I'm just a woman who almost gave her whole life to the wrong person." The room was silent. She continued, "I believed love was enough. I believed loyalty was enough, but I forgot to believe in myself. The women listened intently. I wore the dress. I walked the aisle. But I walked out because peace is better than a fake marriage. A few heads nodded in agreement. I'm not ashamed of walking away. I'm proud because sometimes the strongest thing you can do is say no. When she finished, the room erupted in applause. Tears streamed down faces. Some women rushed forward to hug her. One whispered, "I haven't smiled in 2 months. You just reminded me I'm still alive." Another said softly, "I wish I had your courage 10 years ago." That day, Kyoma didn't just speak, she connected. She healed a part of herself she didn't know needed healing. Back home, her father watched a video of the event on his phone. "Hey," he muttered, "my daughter is becoming a public figure." His friend, Mr. Emma, sat beside him. "She deserves it. She did what no one expected. She exposed that boy and walked away with dignity." "True," her father nodded, "but I hope it doesn't become too much." "Has Booker tried coming back?" Mr. Emma asked. "No," her father replied, "and if he does, I'll be waiting at the gate myself." They both laughed. Meanwhile, Booker sat alone in a dark office, flipping through papers. His assistant had quit 2 days earlier. His lawyer was avoiding him. Most of his staff had packed up and left. His once bright company was now empty. A knock came at the door. "Come in," he said. A man entered. "Sir, they've taken the delivery van." "Which van?" "The Toyota the company leased. They sent people to collect it." Booker nodded. "Okay." The man hesitated before leaving. "Sir, can I be honest?" Booker looked up. "You ruined everything. We were building something good. Then you let your ego destroy it." Booker said nothing as the man left. Alone, Booker sat in his empty office, walls closing in. Elsewhere, Linda sat scrolling through Instagram comments. "Homewrecker, disgrace to women. You deserve every bit of this." She had disabled comments, but the messages kept flooding in. Linda hadn't left the house since the wedding. Her family refused to let her attend gatherings. Her mother hadn't spoken to her in a week. She tried calling Booker again, no answer. She left a voicemail. "Booker, I'm suffering too. Everyone is blaming me. You said we'd figure things out. Please call me." She dropped the phone and cried into her pillow. But no one came. Meanwhile, Kyoma had begun writing not just blogs anymore, but full letters to women who messaged her. She printed them, signed them, and mailed them one by one. Her blog, The Bride Who Walked, now had over 20,000 followers. She shared simple, honest stories, and women replied with their own. One day, she received a message from a 17-year-old girl named Peace. "My uncle has been abusing me for months. I was afraid to speak out, but after reading your story, I told my aunt. She took me away. Thank you for giving me the push." Kyoma wiped her eyes. She knew now that what had broken her was helping others heal, and that was bigger than anything she had lost. One evening, she stood in front of the mirror, rubbing coconut oil on her belly. Her best friend Udu was on a video call. "So, you're really not going to date again?" Udu asked. Kyoma laughed. "I didn't say that. I'm just saying I'm not looking." "Well, with the way men are acting online, they're looking for you. Let them keep looking." Kyoma smiled. "I'm focusing on me, on this baby, on my peace." Udu grinned. "You're glowing, girl." Kyoma smiled too. "It's the peace." That night, she went to bed early. Before closing her eyes, she whispered to her unborn child, "I want you to know you were never a mistake. You are the best thing that came from the worst moment. I will protect you, and I'll show you what it means to be strong." The room was quiet. The fan turned slowly. For the first time in weeks, Kyoma slept deeply. No nightmares, no tears, only rest. At Booker's office, the small sign that once read "A Booker Solutions Limited" had fallen halfway from the wall. The windows were dusty. The reception area, once full of life, was now empty. The secretary's desk was gone. The couch had been moved. The AC was broken. Booker walked slowly into the building, a brown envelope tucked under his arm. He didn't look like the same man from 3 weeks ago. His beard was unkempt, his shirt wrinkled, his shoes coated in dust. He stood before what used to be his private office and turned the handle. The door opened to an empty room. The desk was covered with a white cloth. Someone had started clearing out. He dropped the envelope on the desk and sat down, looking around. Everything was gone. Staff, investors, clients. Even his daily laptop had been repossessed by the leasing company. Only silence remained. Booker bent over, holding his face in his hands. For a long time, he didn't move. Earlier that week, his final investor had called. "Booker, we can't continue," the voice had said firmly. "Your name is bad for business right now." "I know, sir," Booker had replied. "But please, just give me 1 month. I can fix this." It's not about fixing things. It's about trust. And right now, nobody trusts you. That call was the third like it in 1 week. After the viral wedding video, more than 5 major clients pulled out of contracts. 2 real estate firms canceled meetings. 1 supplier refused to work with them. It wasn't just business collapsing. It was Booker's image. And he didn't know how to rebuild it. At night, he returned to his parents' village home. No money left for hotels. His mother, Mrs. Mardu, opened the gate and sighed when she saw him. "So now you're back," she said without a smile. Booker nodded silently. She looked him up and down. "I told you, women like Linda would ruin you." "But you thought you were smart." Booker entered quietly. "Mama, please, I'm tired." "I'm tired too," she shouted. "Tired of seeing my son disgraced all over the internet. What were you thinking?" And he said nothing. "Your cousin came here 2 days ago crying. You won't marry her. You ruined Kyoma's life, and now you want to ruin mine too." Booker sank into a chair. "I didn't mean for this to happen," he said softly. His mother threw up her hands. "But it happened." She walked away, slamming the door behind her. Linda wasn't doing any better. Her family had cut her off. Friends stopped replying. Her workplace suspended her, as her name trended for all the wrong reasons. She sat alone in her room, scrolling through Instagram comments. "Homewrecker. Disgrace to women. You deserve every bit of this." She threw the phone onto the bed and cried. She tried calling Booker again, still no answer. She sent a text. "I know we made a mistake, but you promised me something real. Please don't leave me too." No reply. She sat on the floor, hugging her knees. Back in town, Kyoma rested on her couch when Udu arrived. "Kyoma, you need to see this," Udu said, holding out her phone. Kyoma looked up. Udu showed her a news post. "A Booker's company closes doors after weeks of scandal." Kyoma read the article slowly and handed the phone back. "Not surprised," she said. Udu sat beside her. "People say you destroyed him." Kyoma shook her head. "I didn't destroy him. He destroyed himself." "True," Udu nodded. "But it must feel strange." Kyoma touched her belly. "It feels like justice." They sat in silence. Udu smiled. "You know, some men have been asking if you're single." Kyoma laughed softly. "Tell them to rest, I'm still healing." "Fair enough," Udu said. "But they're serious. Holmes said he'd wait until after you give birth." Kyoma smiled again but said nothing. That evening, she received a message from a woman she hadn't spoken to in a long time. Booker's younger sister, Kamzi. "Kyoma, I know my brother failed you. I know you have no reason to speak to anyone in our family, but I just want to say thank you. You did the right thing, and I wish you peace." Kyoma stared at the message, then replied softly, "Thank you, Kamsi. That means a lot." The next day, Kyoma sat in a cafe with Auntie Neka, a popular women's rights advocate who had been following her journey online. "Kyoma," Auntie Neka said, stirring her tea, "do you know what you've started?" Kyoma smiled faintly. "No, I just did what I had to do." "You started a movement," Auntie Neka said. "You gave women a new way to see themselves, not as victims, but as voices." Kyoma lowered her eyes. "That feeling, it's supposed to feel strange." "Yeah, change always feels strange, but it's necessary." They talked for an hour. Before leaving, Auntie Neka said, "If you ever want to work with us, to speak for us, fight with us, you have a place." Kyoma nodded. "Thank you. I'll think about it." 2 nights later, Booker stood outside Kyoma's house, empty-handed, no flowers or gifts, just himself. He looked thinner, his eyes dull. He knocked, gently. The gateman frowned. "Who is it?" "Tell her it's Booker." The man narrowed his eyes. "She left strict orders. If you ever show up, I shouldn't open the gate." "Please," Booker said quietly, "just tell her I'm outside one last time." The gateman closed the gate and walked away. Inside, Kyoma folded baby clothes when the gateman came in. "Madame," he said, "that man is here again, the one from the wedding." She paused. "Booker?" "Yes, madam. He says he wants to talk just once." Kyoma looked down, standing still for a full minute. Then she said, "Let him in." Booker entered slowly, removing his shoes at the door. He stood in the living room, unsure whether to sit or stand. Kyoma walked in calmly, holding a small cup of water. She sat down. "What do you want?" Booker cleared his throat. "I just came to say sorry, in person. No begging, no stories, just sorry." Kyoma looked at him silently. He continued, "You didn't deserve what I did, not one bit. And if I could go back, I'd undo it. But I can't. So I wanted to say it to your face." Kyoma nodded slowly. "Thank you." Booker stood for a few more seconds, then turned to leave. As he reached the door, Kyoma spoke again. "Look." He stopped. "I forgave you a long time ago," she said quietly. "Not for you, but for me." He looked at her, a flicker of relief passing through his eyes. "Thank you." Then he left. That was the last time she ever saw him. 2 months passed. The wedding that never happened faded from the news. Other stories filled the internet. But Kyoma's name lived on, in the hearts of many. She was no longer called the bride who was betrayed. Now they called her the woman who chose herself. Her blog, The Bride Who Walked, had grown into a real organization. With the help of her godfather and a few kind-hearted supporters, Kyoma opened a small office in town. A clean, simple space with white walls, 3 chairs, and a banner that read, "You are not weak. You are walking away from what was never yours." She wasn't doing this for attention. Something inside her had changed forever. Every week, women came quietly into that office, eyes full of pain. Kyoma listened. She shared her story when it helped. She cried with them when the silence became too heavy. And in every single one, she saw herself. One afternoon, a young girl walked in. She wore slippers too big for her feet and carried a baby who looked less than a year old. Her face was dry, her hair rough. Kyoma stood and smiled warmly. "You're welcome here, my dear. Sit down." The girl didn't speak for a moment, then whispered, "I don't know where to go." Kyoma reached for her hand. "You've already come to the right place." The girl burst into tears, and Kyoma knew. This wasn't just about her anymore. This was bigger. At home, her belly had grown. Her baby kicked off, and now her mother rubbed her back every evening. Her father made pepper soup on weekends, and even learned how to fold baby clothes. They were waiting for a new life. For the first time in years, the house felt full of joy. One day, Udu arrived with 2 bags full of baby gifts. "I know you said no gifts, but please don't shout." I couldn't help myself. Kyoma laughed. "You'll spoil this child before she arrives." Udu sat beside her. "Speaking of arrival, are you scared?" Kyoma paused. "A little, but I'm ready." Udu smiled. "Have you decided what to name her?" Kyoma smiled back. "Yes." "Her name will be Amarachi." Udu nodded. "God's grace." "Because that's what she is," Kyoma said softly. Then the night labor began. It was raining heavily. Kyoma was folding towels when a sharp pain pulled her forward. She grabbed the chair beside her and breathed hard. Her mother rushed in. "It's time." Kyoma nodded. "Call the driver. We have to go." Within minutes, they were speeding toward the hospital. Her father sat beside her, holding her hand tightly. "You're strong. Just breathe." The pain came in waves. She held her belly, whispering softly, "We made it, you and me." At the hospital, nurses rushed her into the delivery room. The lights were bright, the bed cold, but her heart steady. A young nurse named Bai smiled. "You're doing great, ma'am. Just a little more." Kyoma gritted her teeth and pushed. After hours of pain, sweat, and silent prayers, a loud cry filled the room. "It's a girl," the nurse announced happily. Kyoma closed her eyes and breathed out. Tears rolled down her cheeks. When they placed the baby in her arms, Kyoma felt something she'd never felt before. Not just love, but purpose. The baby looked up at her, tiny and innocent. In that moment, nothing else mattered. Not the wedding that failed, not the man who left, not the past. Only this child. Amarachi. Word spread quickly. "Kyoma has given birth," people said everywhere. Messages, gifts, prayers poured in. Even Pastor Ben sent a letter. "You may not have stood before the altar, but you have walked into something greater. May God bless you and your daughter." Kyoma read the letter and smiled. 1 week later, nursing Amarachi under a tree in their compound, her father brought her a newspaper. "Your story made the front page again," he said. Kyoma looked at the headline, "From Broken Bride to Bold Mother, the story of Kyoma and baby Amarachi." She laughed softly. "They'll soon get tired." Her father smiled. "Not when they're watching a queen rise." As the weeks passed, Kyoma continued her work. She went back to the office with Amarachi in a small carrier. Everyone who visited wanted to hold the baby, but Kyoma made it clear. "You can hold her if your hands are clean and your heart is kind." She started writing again. Her new book, The Vows I Kept for Myself, became a small bestseller within its first week online. Then one day, she was invited to speak at a university conference. She stood on stage, Amarachi asleep on her chest. The hall was full. Students, lecturers, mothers, even a few fathers. She held the mic and looked out at the crowd. "My name is Kyoma. I was supposed to be someone's wife, but I chose to be something better, myself." The audience clapped. "I was pregnant, in love, and blind. But I saw the truth in time, and I walked away. That walk changed my life." She paused, holding the mic close. "Talking away doesn't make you weak. It means you understand your worth. Never be afraid to walk when you're not respected where you stand." The hall stood. Everyone clapped. Some shouted her name. Some cried. Meanwhile, far away, Booker watched the video on his phone. He sat on a plastic chair in a one-room apartment. No office, No car, no attention, just regret. He paused the video halfway and looked out the window. He knew he had lost more than a wedding. He had lost the kind of woman people write books about. And this time, no amount of begging would bring her back. At night, Kyoma lay in bed beside Amarachi, now 3 months old. She watched her baby sleep peacefully and smiled. She picked up her phone and opened her blog. The newest message read, "Dear Kyoma, I was about to end my life last month, but your story gave me something to live for. Thank you." Kyoma placed the phone down slowly, wiped her eyes, and whispered, "Thank you, God." Then she kissed her daughter's forehead and said softly, "You saved me, my child. Now I will spend my life saving others." The moonlight touched the room softly. A new chapter had begun, and this time it wasn't about weddings. Thank you for joining us on this journey of courage, resilience, and hope. Remember, kindness is a quiet power that can change lives. One small act, one gentle word, one brave step at a time. When we choose compassion over judgment and justice over silence, we create ripples that reach far beyond ourselves. If this story touched your heart, please consider liking, sharing, and subscribing. Your support helps us bring more stories of strength and humanity to light. As the poet Rumi once said, "Raise your words, not your voice. It is rain that grows flowers, not thunder." Let's be the rain the world needs today. Thank you for being part of the Kindlight family. Until next time, keep shining your light.